Good morning, and welcome to All Souls Church. It's great to see you here. One, two, three. Okay. My name is Eric Berg, and I've been a member of All Souls Church forever, and I welcome you today. We're glad that you're here. We're glad that you took time out of your busy lives to come. I'm the worship coordinator, and today's service here at All Souls Church, where we are on a mission to seek truth, practice love, and celebrate life. Whether you are joining us here for the first time, or if you've been a member for a long time, you're welcome here. What other faith you have known or not known, or whatever your heritage, you're welcome here. What other questions you hold, whatever truths you seek, whatever sorrows you bring, whatever joy has filled your heart, you are welcome here. Whoever you are and whoever you love, you are welcome here. Now for a couple of announcements. This past week, the National UUA has held its annual General Assembly, and that is where Unitarians from across the nation, this time it was virtual, got together and we voted on things, voted on issues, voted on the direction that we want our denomination to grow. And the results from that will be out early this afternoon and will be posted on the weekly blast. So that's when we'll find out all the actions for immediate witness, whether amendments succeeded or failed, or whether Article 2 passed or did not pass, things of that nature. So on Wednesday for the blast, it'll come out. Downstairs, there are a dozen canning jars that are free for the taking. For those that missed the annual meeting, on the table just before you go out of the sanctuary, there are copies of the handouts for our annual meeting, which was held a couple of weeks ago. Right now, a big concern of all of us in this entire community is the flooding and the damage being done. And I'd like to remind you that the city of Sioux Falls has requested to minimize water use. No running dishwashers, washing clothes, take only really short showers. Try to minimize the water going down into the sanitary sewer system, because our sewage treatment plant is overloaded. It's overflowing and dumping into the Big Sioux River. So what we can do to help minimize the sewage requirements will be appreciated by the city and the community, especially if you've had a backup. Okay, are there any more announcements? Sue Ann.
Very quickly, we still need people to sign up for the banquet on Thursday, Banquet West. I will have it. I will be at the door. I will be downstairs. And if you don't sign up, I'll be calling.
Are there any more announcements? Okay, dokie. I'd like to thank all the people that helped put the service together today, from the music to the sound to the presenter to the folks that keep the church clean and presentable for us. Thank you to all. Okay, for the prelude. Thank you, Carol. That was lovely. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations, inspired to bring out our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know that once again, that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community and to each other. We are connected. Please join, if you are able, hymn number 148, Let Freedom Span Both East and West, and stand if you are able. Okay. For the first reading, I'm going to do number 486, and it is not a responsive, so you're off the hook. I am being driven forward into an unknown land. The path grows steeper, the air colder and sharper. A wind from my unknown goal stirs the strings of expectation. Still the question, shall I ever get there? There, where life resounds, a clear, pure note in the silence. And would the kids like to come forward for a story for all ages? What's this word? What's this word? Oh! That's what you say when there's a surprise. Oh! There's a hand. But what's inside? Go. Oh! It looks like an alligator. An alligator with a teacup. And on the next page, we have a teacup. But what's inside the teacup? Oh! Right! It's a ship with the flag and a fish. Oh, a fish. What's inside the fish? It's a duck with a clothespin on its nose. And there's a clothespin. A fish chasing an apple? And here's an apple. What's inside an apple? A butterfly net and a shoe. And here's a shoe. That looks like a dragon eating the moon. The moon. What's inside? Snakes. And a ping pong paddle. An airplane and a pipe. Not too many people smoke pipes anymore. Right. I think that's a Jack in the Box.
Pop out of that.
Yep. A flower. And a hat again. Whoop, that's it. But what this says is that everything and everyone has something hidden inside of them. And when you find that something hidden inside someone else, you can say, oh, that's interesting. What do you think's hidden inside of me? Okay, so your job is to find what's hidden inside of you and you and you and you and your parents and your teachers and everyone else you know. What's hidden inside? So go ahead and go on down to RE downstairs. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Okay. In this church, we've long had a tradition of letting our members and friends come on up and share the joys in their life, the sorrows in their life, and reduce the burden if they feel the need. And the way we do it is we pick up a stone, hold it, warm it, put our energy into it, drop it in the water, and share what we have. And the ripples in the water will go out to the wider world. So I'll just take the stone for all the people who are afflicted by the flooding.
Morning, my name is Nelson. I grew up in a little town in Rock Valley, Iowa, and if you've watched the news at all, local or national, or I think even worldwide, you've seen what happened there. So this is for the devastated town of Rock Valley, Iowa. Last I found out, there were no one hurt or no casualties. Relatives of mine are sheltering in place in a Faith Reformed Church, which is just outside of town, a little farther up a hill. So stuff is gone, but everyone apparently is okay. This is for a relative of mine who passed away. He's a little bit older than me. His name was Glenn. Born without the ability to see or hear or speak. And back then his parents were going to try to take care of him the best they could. And when he reached about the age of 10 or so, he started throwing real violent tantrums, and he had to go live his whole life in a care facility, which there aren't a whole lot of good ones to pick from. So a loss like that brings me cause for reflection for some reason, like very few other ones have. So this is for Glennie.
I'm Ann Hafke. Jenny and I would like to share that our friend Ron's father had passed away last Thursday, and while on a fishing trip, a long fishing trip over at Devil's Lake, North Dakota. And he lived quite a productive life and has done real well. And he was a father to our really good friends, our ex-boyfriend, and Jenny's brother from another mother. So, and I also like to send thoughts and prayers to my dear friends up at the place where I'm at, and to be able to pass along that they're all doing really well, but it'd be nicer if we all could do better than we are right now. So thank you.
Well, my name is Christy, and this has been a tough one for me, a tough week. My Zeus went over the Rainbow Bridge last Monday, and that's been a real struggle. And this is for Zeus, because I know he's now at peace, but I sure ain't, because he was my goofy man-child he was my comedy relief. And Zeus had a twin sister that was also with us. Her name is Asha, and she's struggling a little bit. We're trying to find our new normal without her goofy brother around. And so, but we're doing the best that we can. And then this is also for my sister, whose pipes broke in her apartment. She's been displaced for nearly a week, and they keep telling her it's only going to take a couple of days for the work to be done. And so they keep wanting to move her, and she's trying to work from home and all this kind of stuff, and it's just been a nightmare for her with a 10-month-old. And so my special thoughts to her that they get this resolved so she can get settled. So, and I now have her cat upstairs in my house because, and the cat doesn't like dogs, so even though my Asha would like very much so to play with the cat. So, thank you.
A lot of joys and concerns today. I'm John, and I have two joys. For the last 10, just spent 10 days with my daughter and her family in Mexico, and had a really great time. And I brought one of them back with me. Isaac, would you stand a minute? My grandson Isaac is going to live with me for the next 3 years, and he's going to finish high school here in Sioux Falls and go on to, I think, Southeastern Tech. So I'm going to have some company for the next 3 years.
Hi, I'm Nejla, and I just have a concern for my sister-in-law. She lost her daughter 1 year ago tomorrow. It's just gonna be a hard time. She would have turned 23 last week, and she died of cancer. And so, just sorry, I didn't expect this when I came up here. So, yeah.
Let us pause for a moment and reflect upon what we've heard, and I'll put in one last stone for those people who were unable to come up. Thank you. Would you please stand if you're able and join us in our second song, What Wondrous Love Is This? The second reading, we'll do number 557, A Common Destiny. And it is a responsive. I'll read the Roman if you follow with the italics. A Common Destiny by David Eaton. All living substance, all substance of energy, being, purpose, are united and share the same fate. Birth to death, we share this unity with the sun, the earth. Our brothers and sisters, strangers. Flowers of the field, snowflakes, volcanoes, and moonbeams. Birth, life, death, unknown, known, our destiny from unknown to unknown. Okay, and now I'd like to welcome Rebekah Kane with her talk, Living in Your Season of Life. It should be on. Okay, let's fire it up. There we go.
Good morning, guys. Today, I'm going to give my TED Talk that I gave earlier this year in March. But before I do that, I want to give a little background, I guess. So every year, well, it started last year, it became an annual thing where high schoolers are given the opportunity to give a TEDx talk. And last year, actually, I applied, but I got rejected. So when this year came around and they sent out applications on blast and said, hey, you should do a TED Talk, I did not want to apply because I was like, you rejected me last year. Why would I do it this year? And one of my good friends, Biniam, who gave a TEDx talk last year, looked at me and was like, why, like, what do you have to lose? Why wouldn't you give a TED Talk? And obviously it was my ego talking. I was like, they didn't want me to do it last year. Why did I do it this year? But then I realized that, you know, if I do get in, I give a TED Talk, and that's cool. But if I don't, then life goes on, and, you know, everything stays the same. So it was a week before applications were going to close, and I decided, okay, I'm going to try to get this TED Talk. But it was a week, and the application was like 5 pages long. So I was like, am I going to really get this done? And it was that Friday where applications were due at 6, but I'm involved in speech and debate. So I do tournaments on Friday usually, and that takes up almost the whole day. So realistically, I was thinking, will I be able to get this done? But somehow I did, and I submitted at like 5:59, I remember, and applications are due at 6, so I got it. And then a few weeks passed, and I got in, so yay, and here we are. So yes, my TED Talk is called Living in Your Season of Life. Now, when I was writing an intro for this speech, I really wanted to find a way that we could connect. So I went to Google, like almost everyone does in this day and age, and I typed, what is the fastest way to get to know a large group of people? And the first thing that came up was icebreakers. So I thought I'd ask a few. Now, there's no wrong or right answer to this, so please participate. And I know it can get a little awkward to raise your hand, but imagine how much more awkward it would be for me if you guys did it, okay? Awesome. So let's begin with question number 1. What color is this dress? It's a little controversial, I know. If you see black and blue, please raise your hand. Only one person. Oh my gosh, two, okay. Now, if you see white and gold, please raise your hand. Wow. I've personally only been able to see black and blue. Even like I look at this now, never white and gold. Okay, time for this last question. Do you prefer winter over summer? Okay. Yes. If you prefer winter over summer, please raise your hand. Okay, now if you prefer summer over winter, please raise your hand. Okay, about like a 50-50 split. I've always preferred summer over winter because during the winter, I always find myself thinking, I can't wait till summer so I can get my melanin back. It's really rough, guys. Now, when it comes to the seasons in the year, many of us think of them in terms of what we feel and what we see when we step outside. It's an indication of if it's summer, winter, spring, fall. However, rarely do we talk about the seasons of life. Now, having a favorite season or looking forward to the summer when it's winter is no way harmful. But the attitude or mindset of not being present in the season of life you're in can be detrimental because then you're not able to truly experience the shared human connection with the people and places around you because we're only looking forward to what is next. Now, in a way that it's more applicable in life, for example, or school, so much of what we do is in preparation for our future. We need X amount of credits to move on to the next grade with the end goal of being graduation. Outside of school, many of us work for several different reasons: to support a family, to save up for a life after graduation, or just to simply live freely. And although these are extremely important, it implies our future is guaranteed. For so long, this was my own thought process. I was born and raised here in Sioux Falls, and by the 8th grade, I was tired of the place. I hated that our mall was only one level. Superficial, I know, I'm sorry. And I was really eager for something new. So for my 8th grade year of middle school, I asked my parents if I could live in Japan for my freshman year of high school. I was always constantly thinking about leaving, and Japan was a place where we'd visit once every few years to see family. And when I did, I always felt free from the lifeless cycle I felt I was living here in Sioux Falls. So one day, I remember going up to my parents and asking if I could live in Japan, and to my surprise, they said yes. I don't know why they said yes. Looking back, imagining a 14-year-old asking them to live across the country is kind of crazy, but I'm glad that they said yes. I was always so excited to travel, and Japan was a place where I loved. So I went. And I remember one night specifically being in Japan and not feeling well. Physically, I felt fine, but something in my heart was unsettling. So I decided to confide in my cousin after not being able to sleep for hours. And after my rant session, just getting things off my chest, he turns to me and goes, "Rebekah, I think you're homesick." And I was offended, guys. When I tell you, I'm like, what? You're telling me I miss a place like Sioux Falls, South Dakota when I'm in Japan? Come on. That does not make sense. But after I stopped being so defensive, I realized that he was right. I did not miss the one-level mall, but I did miss the people, the places, everything that I didn't see the good in until it was gone. And this realization put into perspective for me that just as my time in Sioux Falls was limited, so was my time in Japan, and so many other moments in life. And only by having this epiphany did it allow me to be present in my daily experiences. When I came back to Sioux Falls, I felt like I was given a second chance to see everything that was always in front of me that I never truly saw. When engaging conversation with others, I made an intentional effort not just to be a good listener, but to truly understand. When in the company of those who I love, I strove to be in the moment, present. When I came back to Sioux Falls, I was given a second chance. But life doesn't always give us second chances. A huge motivator of me going to Japan in the first place was to connect the Japanese side of my family. A core memory of mine was one summer, my sister and I decided to go exploring in the bamboo forest behind my grandparents' house. I was personally so shocked to see actual bamboo because the only time I'd seen it was watching Kung Fu Panda. Top 10 best movies of all time. My grandpa, seeing how much fun my sister and I were having, had the idea. Sorry, my grandpa just recently passed. I was not expecting this, sorry. He had the idea of DIYing our own nagashi somen, which translates into flowing noodles. Basically, nagashi somen, it's usually served in restaurants in long shots of bamboo. Running water is put through and you drop noodles and they flow to customers. It's a really fun way of eating noodles, and we decided to try it for ourselves. So after picking out the most exquisite looking bamboo and a lot of hard work, it turned out perfect. So moments like these with my grandparents are things that I always enjoyed that I could not experience often because my grandparents lived on the other side of the globe. But moments like this with them were always worth the long wait. And then in the 5th grade, I lost my grandma to cancer. And it was there, in that moment, when I realized that everything is temporary. That includes time with our family. And again, it wasn't until I lost something
someone that I realized the value. And instead of creating more memories with my grandma, I found myself experiencing the selfless life and heart that she lived through the storytelling of others. You see, the problem is we all think we have more time. But the moment in life where you are now, you will never be again. Relationships are constantly changing. People are constantly learning, and in all of this, we are always growing. But our lack of presence causes us to overlook the chapter in the story life we're currently creating. Now, in the seasons of the year, winter will always be followed by spring, spring followed by summer, summer followed by fall, and the cycle repeats. But when it comes to us as humans, the season we're living in is just that, a season without guarantees. The moment you are living in may be white and gold, when mine is definitely black and blue. And although our perspectives may be different, we are both here in this present moment, sharing this experience, which in itself is ever changing. When we make the intentional effort of being present, when the inevitable changing of seasons do come, we don't risk missing the good until it's gone. Thank you.
Thank you. And now is the time for our ask, the offering, to help keep the church running and moving. And half of today's plate will support the Michael Standing Soldiers Foundation to benefit Native persons returning and getting out of the justice system. Would you please join me in saying the words to receive the offering? We give these gifts freely. We receive these gifts gracefully. We dedicate these gifts to the work of our congregation, serving human wholeness, caring for our planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, loving one another. Thank you. And now our third song is song number 301, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. Stand if you are able and wish to. The chalice is extinguished, but the light goes with us out into the world. beautiful sunshiny day, you may want to take a walk out in the peace garden for a change.